NYC Radio Live.
That's right. You are listening to NYC Radio Live. Thanks for tuning in. I got something really special for you. This is the first performance of a project that I think has already grown wings. In fact, we're all flying to San Francisco thanks to the music you'll hear. I'll explain that all in a bit. This is, we're going to hear a performance by Martha Redbone and her band, joined by members of the Brooklyn Raga Massive. And this was a year or two back, part of the Outside India Festival. And we'll hear Martha Redbone on vocals, Aaron Whitby on keys, Marvin Sewell on guitar, Charlie Burnham, one of the great violinists ever, Tony Mason on drums, Fred Cash on bass, Samir Gupta on tabla, Pawan Benjamin on Bansuri, and Neel Murgai on sitar. And they'll also be the special guests of Soni Moreno on vocals and Michael Gam playing Sarod and Kanjira. And many of you know who Martha Redbone is. She's just an absolutely incredible singer who brings in so much of the sound of this continent through her Appalachian roots and through her Native American roots. She's I think Cherokee and Choctaw and African American, and that all winds its way into her music, as well as all that mountain music. And the eclectic group of guys and gals from Brooklyn Raga Massive come with their own influences too, so we'll hear some overtone singing and of course the Hindustani musical influence as well. So we're going to hear that, and we'll also hear some excerpts of an interview that I did with Martha before that show. So if you want to hear the full Martha interview, just go to nycradiolive.org and check it out. And the exciting thing, the reason I mentioned San Francisco, is that the band is going to play Yerba Buena Gardens, a huge free outdoor concert in San Francisco. And while we're there, for those of you who have been following the podcast or Brooklyn Raga Massive very closely, we are going to follow up with Terry Riley while we're there. He's the composer of In C, the piece that is credited with creating minimalism, a genre that includes people like Steve Reich and Philip Glass, and generally is just a spectacular musician. So it was a dream come true for us that he would hear our recording of In C and see the video made by Ian Cinco and actually want to compose something for us. So I just wanted to share that before it happens, because it's anticipation is always a good a great state to be in. So let's go, and I'm psyched to hear Martha and how the band's evolved since this very first maiden voyage that we'll hear. And we'll be out in San Francisco. So yeah, and I began, we'll begin this show with a little excerpt where I was asking Martha about how she and her partner Aaron were influenced by their days hanging out with George Clinton and the Parliament Funkadelic Gang, and how that influenced her music.
I do believe that the experience of being mentored by Junie Morrison from Parliament Funkadelic, one thing that it taught us is that whatever you do is acceptable. You know?
Right.
That there are no rules. And if there's a rule, it's meant to be broken. You know, it's art. It's art and it's creation. So they showed us and proved to the world that there are no boundaries when it comes to art.
Right.
And we must remember that as the creative person, you know, that there are no boundaries when you're experimenting, when you're discovering art. Otherwise, if you set all these boundaries, then we don't grow, and then we might as well just copy the next thing.
Right.
And I think that's, you know, that it's almost like it's an inhuman form to place boundaries on things, and categorizing is not really the job of the artist, of the musician. That's not our job. There are people who get paid lots of money to figure out ways to market and sell these things, but it's not our job to even think about it.
Right.
You know, because once we start thinking about it, then we start limiting ourselves, and that's what you don't want to do. this is American music, and before anyone else came, this was the sound of America.
Yeah.
And so that has to be the foundation from where everything else must be built upon. And so when you hear it in blues, there's also a book called Indian Blues by John Troutman, and which talks about this influence on blues, about the native influence on the blues, but particularly in the Southeast, where my family's from, because we're Cherokee and Choctaw and Shawnee and African American, and you can hear it in the melodies. You can hear you can hear it in the prayers, that the traditional prayers. You can hear it in all the stomp songs, the traditional stomp songs, and the repetition that you hear, from the dances that we do. That repetition, you hear that in the blues as well. So if someone comes from Africa and brings the banjo from Africa and plays that melody line, you can hear that on the guitar, on the banjo, and you'll hear someone sing, we got beans, cornbread, you can hear that. And then you'll also hear the Choctaw people sing something, similar to that, it's exactly the same. And you can hear, I'm just giving you a quick, speedy example.
Yeah.
Of a Southeastern stomp, but you hear the line all the way from the beginning on all of it.
Then I went to the heath and the wild.
Indian classical ragas. Was that something on your plate of listening to? And
It's funny that you say that, but about a year ago, a bit over a year ago, I discovered some beautiful classical music, Indian music from India, and it was on the YouTube. And the sounds, it stopped me in my tracks because it sounded like slide guitar from Appalachia. And I was completely blown away by it. And I saved the link. And I just saved it in my computer. And then, a year and a half later, we got a call from Samir, who said, invited us to perform in this series called Outside India. And we talked about combining our styles, with the mountain music of India meets the mountain music of America.
Right.
And it immediately just brought me back to that YouTube link that I found.
Right.
Which I had in my phone. And so, of course, we jumped at the chance to do something like that. And we thought, wow, outside India and Indian as an American, Indian and Native American. And this is something that we've never done before with classical Indian music. We've never done this before. I've always wanted to do it. I just never knew how to go about doing it. And but we have been experimenting with other particular, other styles of music. But this is going to be absolutely magical. I mean, we just came from rehearsal and we're buzzing. I have so many sounds in my head, in my mind. It's kind of hard for me to even talk properly because it's going to be so exciting.
Wow.
It was just a beautiful experience. I knew it would be, and it surpassed my imagination.
Good.
So I'm very, very excited about Friday.
Yeah.
Over yonder in the graveyard, where the wild flowers grow, oh, there they lay, my own true lover. She's gone from me forevermore. She's gone from me forevermore. Fairer than the sweetest flower, restless as the wildest wind, but with a love deep as the ocean. This was a girl that I did win. left her there back in the mountain to see the world riches to get. Oh, when I returned, no earthly treasure could ease this heart so full of pain. They're so high upon that mountain, beneath that little mound of clay. Oh, the girl that I returned to marry, so still among the flowers I'll go away and I will wander, lay aside my earthly gain. Oh, and I'll not be the man with riches, undone in sorrow. Undone in sorrow, I remain. Undone in sorrow, I She seems to turn the tide at midnight. And for her there is no rest. We are doing what is best for her future. But one of these days she may not be so good to you. One of these days she might shake you to the ground. But her fire is still burning, till her heart is still yearning to be found. Too many hands being laid on her. Too many eyes will never see. That is dragging her down. Still you won't hear a sound when she turns round. Too many hands being laid on her. Too many eyes will never see. That is dragging her down. Still you won't hear a sound when she turns around.
It's kind of a history that's not as highlighted, the African American and Native American relationships. You know, it's
Yeah,
not-
I think it wasn't highlighted because if it were highlighted in a big way, then colonialism might have not happened.
right.
So of course, these groups of people will be downplayed, as actually being together and being communities that helped each other. So that's how you conquer new lands,
Right.
by saying particular things don't exist and wiping them away on paper. So.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Fred Cash. Woo. Don't hurt him. Don't hurt him. from the Indian reservation to the governmental school. Well, they're going to educate me to the white man's golden rule. And I'm learning very quickly, for I've learned to be ashamed. And he comes where they call him Billy, though he's got an Indian name. And there are drugs beyond the mountain. There are drugs, Indian drugs that you can't hear. There are drugs beyond the mountain. And they're getting mighty near. And when they think that they changed me, they cut our hair to meet their needs. Will they think me black or Indian, a quarter blood, or just some half-breed? Let me tell you, Mr. Teacher, when you say you make me right, in 500 years of fighting, not one Indian ever turned white. And there are drugs beyond the mountain. There are drugs, Indian drugs that you can't hear. There are drugs beyond the mountain, and they're getting mighty near. Well, you thought that we knew nothing when you brought us here to school. Just another empty Indian, just America's first fools. Well, I'll tell you stories that are burnt and dark and bold, and in the shadow of their telling walks our thunder, proud and bold. And there are drugs beyond the mountain. There are drugs, Indian drugs
some of the ancestors. Well, there's lone pine and sequoia and some lake and sitting bull. Then there's Magnus, Colorado, with his sleeves so red and full. Crazy Horse, the legend, and those who bit off Custer's soul. They are dead yet they are living with the great Geronimo. And there are giraffes beyond the mountain, lifting drums that you can't hear. There are giraffes beyond the mountain, and they get mighty near. It's our dream. This particular project is very important to me because the people in this country are not Indians. We have 573 federally recognized tribes. We all have our own names, our own languages. There are also a wealth of state recognized tribes still waiting to be seen. And it is my dream that people finally stop calling us Indian and learn how to pronounce who the F we are. I saw a video with Uzumaka from Orange Meets the New Black. Orange is the New Black. And she said when she was a little girl, she talked to her mother and said, she was born and raised in Boston, and she said, Mama, she wanted to be called Zoe. And her mother said, why? And she said, because people don't know how to pronounce Uzumaka. It's just easier. And she said, if Americans can learn to say Tchaikovsky, Dostoevsky, she said they can learn to pronounce Uzumaka. And they can learn to say Chalagi, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Alabama Kushada, Tunica Balagsa, Chippewa, Ojibwa, Apache. They can learn how to do that. Everybody can do that, and it's time. I know it's gonna be a little while before they can call me Sapajishwahanu, which is my adopted name. But let's hope that we can do that so that people from India can be called Indians and we can be called who we are, right? And with that, this is our last verse to this song, okay? You may teach me this land's history, but we taught it to you first. We broke your hearts and bent your journeys. Broken treaties left us cursed. Even now you try to cheat us, even though you think we're tame. In our losing, we found proudness, and in your winning, you found shame. And there are giraffes beyond the mountain.
the spring. Mercy, pity, peace is the world's release. And though she sung all day over the new mown hay till the sun went down and haycocks looked brown. I heard a devil curse over the heath and the firs, and mercy could be no more if there was nobody poor, and pity no more could be if all were happy as we. At his curse the sun went down and the heavens gave a frown. Down poured the heavy rain over the new reed grave, and miseries increase for mercy, pity, peace. I heard an angel singing. Got my tambourine out, you know it's time for church. Let me hear you say yeah. Y'all having a good time? Let me hear you say yeah. Let me hear you say yeah. 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 This train is bound for glory. This train This train is bound for glory. This train don't carry nothing but the righteous and holy. said this train is bound for glory. This train. All right, church claps. This train is bound for glory. This train. This train is bound for glory. This train. This train is bound for glory. Don't carry nothing but the righteous and holy. This train is bound for glory. This train don't carry no gambler. This train. Don't carry no gambler. This train. Oh, this train don't carry no gambler. Lion deep and no big shot rambler. This train don't carry no gambler. Dedicate this song to Miss Yvonne Staples, who joined the spirit world this week. Paul and Silas about for jail, had no money for to go there, babe. Keep your eyes on your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Come on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Well, the only change that we can stand are the change of a hand on hand. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Got my hand on the freedom clock. I won't take nothing from my journey now. Keep your eyes